Hi everyone, my name is Alex Curiazis. I will be your host and welcome to the Book Nook. This week, as we wrap up September and start moving into spooky season, objectively the best time of year, I thought that we should choose a fitting first book. So this week we will be discussing Plain Bad Heroines by Emily N. Danforth. It was published in 2020 and is Danforth's second novel. Her first book, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, was adapted in 2018 to film and won multiple awards for LGBTQ representation and literary style in general. I found that although the books are very different in genre, as The Miseducation of Cameron Post is very coming of age, the high quality world building and well-rounded characters remain the same. Start a story off at Brookhaunt, an Edwardian-era manor-turned all-girls boarding school in Rhode Island. The novel switches time periods between the students and staff of Brookhaunt in 1902 and the crew, writers, and cast of an adaptation of the story of the very same place, featuring those characters. The former set of characters in the Edwardian era includes Flo and Clara, two rebellious students of Brookhaunt who form a club surrounding the controversial memoir, The Story of Mary MacLane, which was a real book at the time. And they become gradually more and more obsessive over this novel until they form a cult-like club that meets in an apple orchard until their tragic deaths by yellow jacket stings, which sends the school's headmistress Libby and teacher Alex down a rabbit hole to investigate their deaths and figure out what happened to them. 3 more deaths occur before the school shuts its doors 5 years later, until Merritt Simmons, an aspiring filmmaker and author, publishes a novel and renews interest in the case. That sparks a film which stars actress Harper, yes, that's her real name, who's at the peak of her stardom in Hollywood, and her opposite is Audrey Wells, who is a former child actress recovering from a very public scandal with her mother. Things quickly go downhill, however, once filming starts, leaving our 3 plain bad heroines to discover what really happened at Brookhaunt and solve the mysteries for good. Overall, I did really enjoy reading this book, and I would say I would give it a 7.1 out of 10. I really enjoy gothic horror in general, so I enjoyed that aspect very much of the story, and I felt that the characters' development and explanations of who they are, their backstories were all very well thought out and well developed throughout the course of the story, and I thought that the world building and attention to detail was perfect. This really gave me a renewed interest in the time period of the Edwardian era and in how Hollywood works, in filmmaking and fame, and how that affects the people involved in that. And overall, it was definitely an enjoyable read in that aspect. I was very invested in the story and the characters, and it definitely kept you in suspense for long enough. One thing that I did not enjoy so much is that the book is 617 pages long, so it is a bit of a heftier read. And I felt that towards the middle, the plots did slow down a bit too much for readers to truly stay engaged in it, and some scenes definitely could have been trimmed down. I believe that the flashback scenes in 1902 were a lot more compelling, and as a reader, I was more interested in those characters than in the modern day characters, and I wish that the book had spent more time with that. It also does have some really beautiful illustrations in the book, drawn by Sarah Lotman, and those were absolutely stunning, and I wish they had more of them as well. The framework for the story was laid out very nicely, and I felt that even though that did happen, you still wanted to know what happened, and I still cared about the characters. So overall, I did enjoy the novel, but I feel that it could have been a bit better. That wraps up this week's episode of the Book Nook. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading!